Hey, Rob here, and today we're going to be unboxing and looking at the RetroBit Generations, one of the most contentious of the retro gaming devices I have ever covered. It's taken more hate and vitriol than any other system I can remember. Oh wait, yeah, there's the entire VCS. But when this originally released at $80, it was sold as a premium system for doing retro gaming. And it was reviewed by people who reviewed premium retro gaming systems. That said, my standards are a little bit lower. And if you're watching this, yours are too. So how about it? At 30 bucks, is the Generations worth it? Let's find out.
Retro Rob plays everything.
Hey ladies and germs! Well, here we go. It's the RetroBit Generations. I've been sitting on this sucker for weeks. Haven't really had the guts to open it, to be honest with you. It is kind of infamous. It's got about 100 games on it. They are licensed. It has HDMI out and AV out. So that sounds like this should be a wonderful hit. And RetroBit's not a bad company either. But unfortunately they made some pretty bad mistakes on it and the reviews were kind of brutal. That said, well, I don't necessarily think the things that a lot of them were complaining about were that bad, although some of them were. Some of them were very valid. I think there was kind of a hate train on it and it got really rough. Maybe it's not a hate train, maybe they were just expecting a little too much out of it, but you know, I mean, I review some pretty rough stuff. I'm thinking I'm going to like it. So I'm going to unbox it and try it out. See what I think. Alright, on the side we've got our features. Packed with over 100 popular retro games. 2 USB 6-button retro style controllers. I wonder if it's compatible with regular ones. We'll have to test it out. HDMI and AV outputs. Heck yeah. Sleek, compact design. Intuitive user interface. Internal game save feature. Sweet. SD card slot to save and transfer game progress. Yeah, I assume that that's probably been hacked already to run games right off of it. AV output cable and power cord. Well, that's nice. Here we have some of the games for it. Looks like some pretty good stuff. I don't know Captain Commando, but Super Ghouls and Ghosts I like quite a bit. GunSmoke's pretty good. I think I just played Knights of the Round, didn't I, on a video? And it was pretty good too. Mercs I like. R-Type. Lots of good games here. So hopefully this will go well for me. Who knows? Alright. Other side. We've got some pictures of the built-in save feature and the HD options. Anything on the bottom? Yeah, it says RetroBit Generations. And if you are a crazy boxophile, which I don't blame you for being, I like them myself. It does have a nice carrying handle, so that's a plus. Alright, let's bust this thing open. Shall we? Tab 1. Here we go. Uh-oh, I just did it upside down. Big mistake. Big mistake. Alright, here we go. Busting out of here. And number one, the console is much smaller than I thought it was going to be. Here we go. There it is with all of its cables. Okay, it includes a fairly decently long AV cable. I bet that sucker's, it's probably about 7-8 feet. Not bad. One USB controller. It feels on the cheapest side, cheap-ish side. It's not terrible. I think the D-pad sticks out a little bit too far. It's not terrible though. I've definitely dealt with worse. There is of course 2 of them included in the package. Next we have the console itself. Here it is right here. And it doesn't look bad. It's a nice little thing. A couple USB ports in the front. Side. Rubberized feet. Super shiny black piano plastic, which will definitely get dirty. Got the SD card slot, HDMI, AV output, and power adapter. And it's a barrel adapter, which is kind of nice. I like to see a barrel adapter every once in a while. They're just a more durable adapter in general. So many of these things have, you know, like either the micro HDMI or the mini HDMI. Mini or micro USB. And they're a little bit less durable. They tend to crunch up. So anyway, I'll get it for the HDMI comment. So there we go. Controller 1, controller 2. And of course here is the US adapter. Alright, I suppose I'm going to go play this thing and test it out. Oh, hey, if you didn't see it, there's the power button. Almost forgot. The manual is included. Ages 10 plus. The basic black and white thing. Warnings. Tells you the package contents. Stop playing and consult a physician if you experience any of the following: loss of awareness, lightheadedness, nausea, or a sensation similar to motion sickness, altered vision, disorientation or confusion. Well, I have that all the time. Facial muscle twitches, shaking arms or legs, tired, uncomfortable, or aching arms or hands. Oh, sorry, hands or arms. Tired, dry, or aching eyes. Any unusual physical sensations. Wow. Basic diagram, how to hook it up. A little bit about the user interface. I'll go into that in a little bit. And that's it. Unfortunately, no instructions on how to actually play the games. Bummer. Before I continue, I want to point out that there was no HDMI cable included with this. Very naughty. If you're interested in the assembly, controller 1, power adapter, and then video connector of choice, sorry. And there we go. Since that's the only choice I have right now. I'm gonna grab an HDMI cable though. This is the controller supplemental. There's probably gonna be a little bit of repeating in here, so sorry about that. Here it is, looks a lot like a Genesis controller. It's small. It's a little bit uncomfortable in the hands, but not terrible. I have pretty big hands, so if you got smaller hands, it might be a little bit better for you. The D-pad is acceptable. It's not perfect, but it does have enough lift on the ends to make it pretty much usable. I didn't really fight it a lot during testing. There's no rubberization here, so this is just a cheap plastic start button. The buttons, they work okay. They don't feel great. These are concave and these are convex, which I think is the Genesis way of doing it, which I guess is fine. It's not my favorite way of doing it. Again, it feels okay, but it's nothing super. To get to the menus, you press start and this button up here. This button feels a little bit cheap, but I haven't had any problems with it. The cable is acceptable. Again, it's mid-grade. It's not bad. But it's not like super quality. It's a decent cable and the connections are decent, and I didn't notice any problems during gameplay. The cable is a whopping 9 feet long, which is really good. I'm glad that they did that. I wish more people would do that. So all in all, you know, the controller gets a thumbs up. It's, you know, about a C-rate controller. It's not terrible, but it's not super great. Okay, so here we are at the main menu of the RetroBit Generations. I'm going to just scroll through the games for you so you can see what's in here. We are going to play a few, and I'm going to show you a couple of weird things. I'm also going to show you the save system and the screen scaling system as well. So a little bit of everything. There's quite a decent collection, honestly, of games in here. There's a little bit of adventure. There's a lot of shooters. There's some platformers in here, some unusual stuff that I haven't seen in other collections. So really, as far as the selection goes, it's really not bad. There's NES, there's SNES, there's arcade. There is, right here, we've got a Game Boy game. I mean, just a little bit of everything. And that's good. I like that. See, there's even sports in here, which I don't like. But hey, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, be mean to somebody because they like their sports games. good to have them in here. There's not a lot of racing games, though. I did notice that. And Big Run will be one of the games I show you. And there is about 100 games, but I know people like to know everything that's on here, so I will scroll through them. And there's a little screen shot of each. There's some, there is some really strange stuff in here, and hopefully I'll show you some of that too. Not even hopefully, I definitely will show you some like kind of weird stuff. Ghosts and Ghouls, one of my favorite games. There's actually 2 versions on here. There's the Super Nintendo version on here as well. Bit of pinball. There's more than one pinball game. Here's Holy Diver. I bring that to Mad with Power Fest every year, and people play it. It's a frustrating game. Unfortunately, this one I'm not going to go. I might stop there. I might not. So sorry if I don't. But it runs a little faster than the original, and that is a problem. Some things run faster. Some things run slower than they should. Kid Nicky, Radical Ninja. Knights of the Round, I like that game. There's some pretty lame stuff here. Somebody's gonna love Landmaster and they're gonna go after me about it, but it's not my thing, you know? We're in the M's, just hang in there. Monster Club. Mr. Bloopy. Night Defender. I'll be showing you Night Defender, not 2 though. There's a reason for it. Onslaught, I used to play on the Amiga a bit. Operation Logic Bomb. I like that game. It's not like a super great game or anything, but it is pretty good. R-Type 3 plays pretty well. Rockfall. Rocky Rodent, which is not a great game. Rodland. Keep going. There's a snake game. There has to be a snake game in every collection. Sumo Slam. I think I played that game before. As I recall, it wasn't too bad. Alfred Chicken was kind of a weird thing. It was it did well for a while. There's several Alfred Chicken games on here too. There's Super Ghouls and Ghosts, as I said, would be there. Super Noah's Ark. I might try that. I have not played this yet on here, so I think that might be a curious game to play, and I have never played it on this station, so that might be worth checking out. Super R-Type. Sword of Sodan, another game I used to play on the Amiga. Some fishing games, if you're so into that. Ignition Factor. If I didn't mention it earlier, there is some delays in the menu. We're going to talk about Varth. And if you've watched any reviews on this, I'm sure it's been mentioned. We'll go into what's wrong with Varth. Zippy Race. This is the first time I've played an actual legit version of Zippy Race. Almost every version I have is a hack. I think I've got the cartridge, though, and I just never bothered to pop it in. It's not that great, but not terrible. And Zooming Secretaries is the last game on the list. All right, let's pick some games, play them, and I'm going to show you the menu. But first, there's something I'm going to show you. I'm playing this with an Xbox 360 controller, and indeed that does work. If you've got a wired Xbox 360 controller, that USB controller does work. I like that, so it is going to get some plus points for that. That makes a big difference. The controller that comes with it, and I think I already covered this in an earlier segment, isn't too bad. It's an average controller, but playing with this Xbox 360 controller is really a night and day difference. And since it's programmable, you can program the buttons to make more sense, and that actually does give it a lot of points. All right, let's try some games. Okay, so our first test is going to be on Battle Squadron, and it's going to show you a couple of the problems that I've seen with the system. It's not every game, so I don't want this to flavor your whole opinion of the system. However, Battle Squadron appears to be skipping a number of frames. And this does not happen with every game. I'm going to show you a few games, and a lot of them work really, really well. This one, however, I've finished this game a couple times on the Amiga, and this really does seem quite a bit off to me. But let's show you a couple things about the menu system. Now, to get into the menu system on this thing, and I'm looking down because I'm trying to grab a controller, sorry about that. Basically, you hit this button and this button. So these two right here on this controller, and this will bring this menu up. Now, if you're using the Xbox controller like I am right now, it is the start and pause buttons. So, there we go. If I want to save a game, I can save it right here. There are 3 slots per game, and you can just basically, here, I'll just save right on top of this one, confirm to replace, and I've saved it. Okay, now, if I want to load, I can just go to load progress, and it will continue the game from where I saved it. Really nice, right? I like that. That feature works really well. These settings, sound output is only on or off. I think it probably improves performance in some of the games if you turn the sound off, but why the heck would you ever want to do that? Yes, you can remap your buttons. Screen size, this is the big one. I don't really like the full screen function here. I like to switch over to scaled. So let's go back to the game and take a look at it in scaled mode. And as you can see, it looks a lot better. I mean, just, oops. Not playing a lot better. But the game looks a lot better in scale mode. And I've found that most games look best in this mode. Ooh, I'm getting walloped. Alright, let's show you native mode. Alright, go back into settings. Screen size, original size. Back up. And then take a look at the game. Alright, see how it's running in this little tiny postage stamp? So, if you want to run it in a postage stamp, yeah, I guess, you know, you can run it in this mode, but I've never found a game that actually looks better in this particular mode. And it doesn't play any smoother. It plays pretty much exactly the same. So, again, the first of the modes is the mode that I enjoy the most. Now, here's a note on the video modes. If I go into another game, it's going to stick with the same video mode that I set for this game. And it'll keep going on like that. It will not save the settings per game. Also, when I reboot, it will go right back to the stretch setting that it starts with. So every time you start the console up, you do have to change the video setting, which is kind of a bummer. Okay, couple more things in settings real quick before we go on. Information is not what I had hoped it was. Information is just version information. Sadly, there's no directions for each game, so that's kind of a bummer too. Alright, let's go on and play some games. Okay, here we have Big Run. It's your typical 16-bit racer, and it's one of only a couple racing games that are on this console. Just gonna hit start. It's a pretty typical 16-bit racing game. It does have a few extras on it, like there is damage repair, and you can choose who sponsors you and who talks to you while you're racing. So you could have like a different navigator and different mechanics. So it's got all that. It's got a shop. You can do, like I said, repairs and such. But, you know, it's just a basic racing game, to be honest with you, at least by modern standards. And we'll just do a quick lap here. Floor it. As you can see, it does run really nice. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. It plays okay. I like the way they got that helicopter. Reminds me of Ridge Racer, kind of. I like the way the signs are sometimes in the street, but when they get closer, they're not. That's mashed up. That's mashed up, man. And the graphics, while not amazing on this game, are okay. Oh, I cannot believe I hit him. Come on. Move it. There we go. The dancing trees. See, and it's giving me a warning because I've got a navigator, so it's telling me I've got to go left or right first before I hit the turn. So if you look on the top right, there is that. You can do it! If you don't keep hitting stuff. Ooh, went into low again. So one of the things, if you press forward, it'll put you back into low gear. So you gotta kind of pull back a little bit while playing it. See, you did it again. It flicked back in there. Ha! Like that. It doesn't have a tremendous sense of speed. It's not terrible or anything, but it is what it is. What? How's he getting ahead of me? Jeez. There we go. Now I got it. Low again. Probably help if I use the D-pad. Not as much as you'd think. I hit it when I hit the D-pad too. No, don't steer off. It's a really long track. There we go. Goal. Let's try something else. Okay, so here we have Forgotten Worlds, and this one's kind of interesting because it makes me wonder whether they were testing this with an Xbox controller or not. With the game controller that comes with it, given the layout that they set this up with, the button layout that they set it up with, it's almost impossible to play. However, without any adjustment of the Xbox controller, it really plays pretty decently. So, you know, I don't know, they must have used it. But in case you don't know, you have the ability to move his gun up and down. And for the default controller, the mapping's a real big pain in the butt. But if you use an Xbox controller with it, this mapping's great. Now you could probably change the mapping to something a little bit more acceptable on the other controller, but it really does make me wonder. I mean, did they test this with an Xbox controller originally? Were some of the players just using that? I don't know. Maybe. Let's go on. Alright, here's a game that's really great. GunSmoke. It's an old NES game, I believe. Just plays really great on this. You can use the default controller and it runs great using the default controller, or you can use your Xbox controller. It works fine with that too. Come on, Bandit Bill. Alright. And it's just a basic shooter. I mean, you go shoot to the right, shoot to the left, A and B buttons. That's basically it. There's pickups. But the game plays very smooth. See how smooth this plays next to some of the other games I played. It's really pretty smooth, and it should be. It's a NES game, I understand. But, you know, some of the other games should have been smooth too that weren't. So really, really nice, and I like this game a lot. It was a good choice to put in here. Haha, fools. Oh, walked into it. That was not good. Rats. Speed me up. There we go. Let's not shoot this woman. I don't think you can. So I haven't got enough to afford any of this. Sadly enough. See ya. I'm poor. Yeah. Wait, there's the horse. That's what I wanted to show you. The horse. Awesome. Just glorious. Alright, let's go try another game. Alright, so this game is Holy Diver, and I think I've only seen it in a collection twice. So it's good that they included it in here. This game was only available in Japan originally. I've got this cartridge, and I do play it fairly regularly, and it's pretty close to being right. I think the speed is a little bit faster than the original game is, but it's not like... I don't think if you played it casually, you'd notice it, to be honest. And it does throw me off a little bit, but again, if you hadn't played this game before, I think this would be perfectly acceptable. And honestly, if you played the game before, it's a perfectly acceptable way to play it. It's just... maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just feels that little bit off because of I'm using a different controller, not a Famicom controller. But it is, I don't know, it's just that little bit not right. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just playing like crap today. Jeez, come on. Oh, I gotta go get that heart. And we'll just get up here and then we will wrap it up and go on to yet another game. There we go. This is one of those games that's ridiculous. See how they come back at ya? That drives me nuts. This has a bunch of the Nintendo features that will drive you insane. It has the wave formation enemies, and then it has the after they pass you, they come back to try and hit you in the head. Oh, it is so hard. But really, it's not playing that bad. Honestly, it might not be off. You know? It may not be. I might just be playing a little off today. If it is, it's just such a tiny bit, I don't know that anybody's going to notice it. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, so here's Knights of the Round. And this one I'm playing from a save game that I did earlier, just to show you that it does work fine. This is a much earlier save. And here we have Scorn, the first boss, and a real stinker. Oh, jerk. Quit throwing me all over the place, you jerk. Yeah, I like how when he starts losing, he calls out his mom and dad. Come beat me up. Jerk. Don't you sit there laughing. Oh. Missing him. And this game plays just fine. Looks good. Plays good. It's very fluid. And it's a fun game. It's just... I don't like beat-em-ups, though. If you don't like beat-em-ups, I don't know that this one's going to convince you that beat-em-ups are the greatest thing on Earth. But maybe I can. Beat-em-ups are the greatest thing on Earth. Just saying. Feel free to disagree. Alright, there we go. Let's try another game. Okay, meet Knight Defender. I think you're going to kind of recognize this game. I cannot believe Nintendo didn't sue him for this crap. So, yeah. Looks a lot like another game by another company. But I'm going to show you something else in a minute that is going to be weird too. There we go. I don't think I'm going to make it. Oh, I did though. Good. Alright. Yay, I made it. Not that I made it. That's not the deal. I'm just going to show you a little bit of this next level too. Hang with me. Just stick with me on this. Yeah. It's very close to Donkey Kong, but that's not the point. Alright, I'm going to show you another game here, and then you'll get where I'm going with this. Hang on just a second. And here's Super Thor Quest. Hey! What the heck? Yeah. And this is also on this console. So we have two games that are very Nintendo-y. Can't believe they didn't sue. I think they just reskinned the other game, to be honest with you.
it seems to be exactly the same in every way except the graph. Oh, hey! Except my fire button didn't work that time. That was messed up. But I think you get the point. Even the second level is pretty much the same. Weird. And here we have Super 3D Noah's Ark, which I believe I promised you I would play, and I would hate to rip you off like I did a couple videos ago and not play something I said I would. So, yeah. Here's Super Noah's Ark. And basically, apparently I thunk the animals over the head until they fall asleep. So later I can drag them aboard my boat. You know, because I'm Noah. A bit like the Royal Navy used to do for sailors. You'd be drinking at the bar, somebody buy you some beers, and boom, you'd wake up in the service of Her Majesty. So, I mean, you know, it plays as well. It plays as well as the game played. It's weird, though. What a strange choice, you know, to use Wolfenstein as the core for this game. Is that what? Okay, whatever. And I thought you only needed 2 of everything. So why am I thunking all these guys over the head? Why? And they... This is another thing, too. They seem to appear out of nowhere. There's like no draw distance whatsoever. Jeez. Not the greatest game in the world. Oh, man. Come on. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. I don't... What? No. Die, you little bar. They kick the crap out of you. Okay, I'm here's the thing. I'm supposedly out of feed, right? Wait. But then I have feed to give to them. What the heck? Alright. Enough of this lunacy. Let's go on to another game. Oh, yeah, I gotta show you something that's really messed up. Okay, so this is Varth, and it's another one of the arcade offerings in the system. And, well, I think you can figure out what's wrong with it right away. It's sideways. So you could... It's weird because they map the controller so it will work this way. So right goes right, left goes left. They remapped it, and then they... I don't know. They just left it sideways like this. So... Here we go. It plays just fine, but it's sideways. So I guess what you could do is you could remap the controller sideways, and you know, you could flip your TV on its side and play it. I guess that would be the the resolution to this. Unfortunately, you know, in the settings, even though there are video settings, there is no setting to rotate. So unfortunately, basically out of luck here with this game, unless you want to flip your TV to its side. That's kind of a major deal if this was one of the games that you bought the system for. It's downright a deal breaker, I would say. So just ignore Varth, I guess. Whistle past that graveyard, I guess is the point. Alright, let's go look at one more game. Alright, so here is Super R-Type, which is a whole bunch of fun. Blast to play, and it seems to play just fine to me. And I love this game, so, you know, it does seem a little fast, but... But it is fun to play, and I think that's really what matters with these kinds of games, is whether they're fun to play on the system or not. I don't think I tried it with the original controller, so I don't know how good of a job it would do. I'm going to assume it would probably be okay. like I said, I played a lot of these games with the original controllers, and I thought, meh, it did an okay job. But this Xbox 360 controller, it works a lot better for most, even though my skill level is obviously not the best in the world. Still, fun game, looks nice, plays well. I'll give it a thumbs up. Alright, let's go on to the verdict, shall we? Alright, so the verdict on the RetroBit Generations. Well, it's really not awful. The quality of the console and the controllers are pretty good. They're not insanely excellent, but they're not horrible either. They're just right down the center. There were some design ideas that actually worked pretty well, like they thought enough to put long cables in it in case you play far from the TV. That's nice. That's a good touch. Again, controllers aren't perfect, but they're really not bad. But a big plus is I can play it with an Xbox 360 controller, so I can use that controller if I like it better. And that's a really nice touch that you don't get very often. If you saw that one Famicom that was USB I played a while back, it did not work with them. In fact, it didn't work with anything else I plugged into it, even though it was USB. So give it some points for that. The game selection is really quite excellent. Yes, not all of them are like great 5-star games. However, most of them are pretty good. Some of them play a little bit slow, and some of them play a little bit fast. And one of them doesn't play right at all. But given there's 100 games on there, it's not a huge deal, but it is a sign that there wasn't a whole lot of attention to detail on the software end, and that is kind of a problem. It would have been a big problem if I paid $80 for this. However, it's down to $30. And at $30, I think I can give it a thumbs up. Don't pay $80 though. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you don't agree with me or do agree with me, put it in the comments down below. And please, thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.
RetroBit gaming videos.